Right, Nadia, most of the skaters you will see here tonight may very well be vying for a spot on that 2014 U.S. team.
Started when I was 9 years old and was in 2 Olympic Games, one when I was 15 in 1964 in Innsbruck, and a really good one in 1968 when I was 19. I won.
When you were growing up, was there role models? Was Carol Heiss? Was that?
I loved Carol. I thought she was a wonderful role model for the sport. She was a beautiful young girl, and you wanted to be like her. But I also looked up to dancers, to the ballets, and to I loved music. So I played the violin before I started skating, and so I was a tomboy. And I loved music and dance, and skating was everything wrapped up in one.
Your mother was a force.
Oh, absolutely. Now, my dad was an ex-Marine, so it's like when you were told to do something or committed to something, you stayed with it and you did it and you did what you were told. And I think, when you're a competitor, you're in the pleasing business, and being a kid, you're kind of in the pleasing business too.
1961 was sort of a tipping point in the skating world. What do you recall about that time period?
Well, I was 12 years old when the 1961 World Figure Skating team was killed in a plane crash going to the World Championships. And it was devastating to our sport. It killed my coach, was on that flight. And it killed all of my role models that I would have had, but it also killed all of our top skating coaches in the U.S. So there were many layers to the devastation of that crash.
64, when you made the Olympics.
Oh, it was really cool. Just to say you made the Olympic team. I was 15 years old. I hadn't even been out of California very much. I didn't have a warm coat or anything, never had a passport. So I had to do all this. I'd never been to Europe. And the Olympics is a whole lot. It's such a big event, and it's really hard to focus. But I didn't have the pressure of, placing on the medal stand. I was just enjoying the experience of being there, and I came in 6th place, my first international competition. So it made me kind of think that it's a possibility.
68 Olympics. You won virtually everything in the competitions, those 67, so the expectations were quite high for Peggy Fleming.
Right. It was a lot of pressure, but they were all good lessons, and you don't get thrown into the Olympics, just one day to the next. I mean, there's many layers of stress and expectations that, led up to that, and you're always testing yourself of, like, what am I really made of? Can I do this?
Yeah.
And I was still kind of questioning it a little bit for the Olympics, because you never know what's going to happen. If you're going to get sick, or if the nerves will freak you out, because the Olympics are very different than the World Championships or the Nationals, and you don't know how you're going to react until you step out and do your performance. And so it's like, okay. I always thought to myself that I will just pretend I'm at practice and block out everybody else, and that's what I did. Thank goodness, and all that muscle memory kicks in if you practice it.
The schools, were you first place?
I was 89 points ahead of the second girl.
I remember you.
So all I really had to do is stand up and get through my performance, but then you always think in the back of your mind, well, something's going to happen, but it didn't.
What'd you skate to?
I skated to Tchaikovsky and Samson and Delilah, and I think the William Tell Overture. So it had, a powerful beginning and a very soft, flowing, lot of edges in the middle, and then in the end put in some more jumps. So I picked the music. I think when I was at home, I was ironing or something, and my mom, kept playing all this music, and all of a sudden this music came on, and it would startled me. I went, oh, it's exciting.
Yeah.
So I thought, that's what I wanted to skate to. And that's what it did to the audience. It made them kind of like sit up and take notice and got their attention. And now my husband uses it on me. Anytime he really want to get my attention, he'll start, the beat of that song.
You were and are the it girl to bring America to the forefront again in ice skating. I mean, do you feel that mantle today? I mean, and do people remember it, frankly?
Well, I think, I didn't feel that really, but I think it was the timing that was going on in the country and in the world. There was the Vietnam War and all the drugs and all of that. And here I was, coming from, a very simple background. Someone young to accomplish something like I did, I think helped the country have hope for the youth. And I just came in at the right time, and color TV helped too.
Yep.
And so there were a lot of other things going on that made the impact of my Olympic win in '68. It wasn't just me, it was about what was going on all over.
Right.
And so I keep that in perspective of what I accomplished and how people remember me. But it's not just skating how they remember me. I think there's the emotion of what was happening in the world.
Many years with Dick Button. Your relationship with him wasn't always as warm and comfortable and easy as it's been recently.
Oh, yeah, he's like being with your professor all the time.
Yeah.
Because he's always testing you, and I respect him tremendously. He's like the father of our sport.
Yeah.
He's been there to push you to be your best, and he helped me kind of do that with my commentary. It's like, okay, we talk about things that were kind of controversial, and he says, well, you agree with me, well, why don't you say it on the air? And I go, well, I have to think about it so I can say it in a nice way.
Mm-hmm.
And he would just say it, and it just seemed a little rough, but I mean, we knew the same things and really thought a lot of the same things, but I just had to soften it, because we were talking about teenagers.
Right.
And that's a very vulnerable age, and you want to do some, constructive criticism.
Was Carlo the right person at the right time?
Oh, absolutely. He was the right personality, funny. I never really understood every single word he said to me, but
Did he have an
that's
Italian
okay.
accent?
Oh, he used his hands a lot, and I kind of knew what he meant. We were at the World Championships
Okay.
in Lausanne, Switzerland, and he died the day before we went live on the air. And I had just walked up the hill the night before with him, and he was struggling, getting out of breath. And he said, yeah, I need to work out more. And he had a heart attack the next afternoon at lunch. I had just left that practice that he was at, and then I heard they were staying at the same hotel. So I immediately went down and saw his wife, Krista, and she was just so strong through that whole thing. I was just, it was like losing my father all over again.
Right. You did ask to sort of announce it on TV. How tough was that?
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have done it without our host, was Terry Gannon.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had to say the words and not think about it. Of course, and he held my hand, and he made me strong, and I got through it, and then they just panned the camera to him.
Mm-hmm.
But they were like my second family.
Yeah.
I mean, Dick and Terry and all those people helped me through some very difficult times. And I don't know, it's hard to lose people. But, it's part of life.
Yeah, outstanding.
Oh,
That's
good.
a thrill for me.
Oh, thank you. It's
And
nice
welcome to
to be here.
Jamestown, New York.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And tonight's show is not one, but two shows. First, the one you will see tonight, and the other is the broadcast of tonight's show, which will air on NBC Saturday, January 19th.